T minus, just over 2 hours until my final exam. Before which I have to pass in this project, which, as you know, if you've been following these videos, it is nowhere near complete. I'm finally to the spot where if I had like an extra day even, I could get it sorted out. But unfortunately, to pay for a course extension, it's like a third of the cost of the course. So I won't be doing that. That being said, I'm just going to show some of the progress so far. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going through my code that I had written way back before I had all these issues. Back when I wrote this in January, at the end of January, I believe, or sorry, not the end of October, whenever I first started taking this course before I switched gears to another course. So I'm just grabbing all the comments and putting them back because I had taken all my comments out when I was debugging and trying to figure out what the issues are, because I just found the comments noisy and hard to decipher. So I'm just going through the code before I submit it, even though it's still not fully working, and I'm just reintroducing the comments. I've got a lot of Doxygen comments here because I'm a big fan of Doxygen comments, that way you can get the automatically generated HTML files, basically your code docs. So anyone not familiar with Doxygen commenting, it's essentially Java docs for C++. And if you're not familiar with Java docs, well, it's just basically if you write code in a certain way, i.e. give it this extra little asterisk for a multi-line comment and give these little at param, at details, these little tags, you can run it through an external you can run it through an external system and it'll generate some professional looking HTML files for you based on your comments. You can also do Doxygen comments inline, like if I was to do another / and this, and a lot of different ways to do it. I didn't bother doing that. I just did a lot of inline comments, but you could do that. Anyway, let's do a quick run through. I was going to do a quick run through because I noticed something with my cry pool of tears method. Namely, well, I'll just show you. So if I start the game, it'll eventually load up. And if you've been watching the videos I've showed previously, you'll notice that I don't have as much debugging code printing out this time because I have set my debugger code to not show. So basically in my main method, in my main file, Alice in Wonderland implementation file, in my main method I've just toggled the debugger set display all messages to false. So now you see I just get the actual output of what the game is, as opposed to the debugging messages. Just to give you a comparison, if you weren't watching the previous videos, if I set this to true, Control S, recompile, you see how it shows main. The main method was called, then the show intro method within main. And if I type something as simple as east, or even look, if I just want to look at the stage, all this debugging output that I added to my code would print. This was required at one point because it was really necessary for me to find out what was going on. And then this would be the normal output that would print during the game. Obviously it's still templated because I just am running out of time. But and then if I go somewhere, if I go east, same thing, I get a lot of output happening before what should normally happen. So let's just quit the game. So again, even to quit the game, all this debug code happens before the main message, goodbye, see you later. But anyway, so that's if I have it set true. And this is based on a debugging class. If you're watching previous videos, I was having so many issues, I literally just created a class, debugger. This is the header file. The header file. So it's got different constructors. Basically, it has a message you can input. It has an ID associated with it, which is why I have these numbers. It has an indent level, which is why, depending on the method call, it's indented accordingly. I have a static boolean where I can display all messages. I can indicate, I have a show message array where I can have certain messages turned off and certain turned on if I don't want to do it like all at one. I have a counter that's used for my thing. couple different constructors. So some this one's explicit because I'm using a default argument here equals 0. Therefore, this has one parameter. Can accept only one parameter. Therefore, you need to mark it explicit. Pad string just is for my indent level. This is the actual implementation file. But anyway, that's not the point of this video, so let's go back. Anyway, my point is I think I just took off. Yeah, so I took it. No, I didn't. So all that talking, and I didn't even shut down my debugger code. So we'll go to the main method, and we will set this to false because we don't want the messages to show, because at this point, we're not changing anything anyway. Not really. So let's just reload this again. Recompile. Doing a lot of compiling here. Okay, so no debug messages. There might still be some debug messages. I was just outputting via the console using stdcout. I think for like addresses of objects and stuff. So that might show up, but for the most part, most of the debug messages will be gone. So as usual, you know, I could look around, I could see what's in there. Oh, there's a glass jar. Excellent. Awesome. I could take the jar if I wanted. Take jar. Jar's taken. Again, these debug messages don't get shut off because I was just using cout to put addresses. So just disregard that. Jar's taken. I could drop the jar. Say if I don't want the jar. Jar's back. If I look in my inventory, I have nothing. If I look in the location, the jar's there. If I take the jar again, I probably could have done this more efficiently. Now if I look in my inventory, I have a glass jar, and if I look in the description, there is nothing. If I go east, I enter, you can read the excerpt, but the main message here is I'm at the rabbit hole. Do I want to hear a riddle? Why not? Let's do it. And again, this is still some debug code that, again, it's just being printed out with cout, so I need to take that out. What was the last name of the real-life Alice in Wonderland that Lewis Carroll based his novel off of? It was Liddell. So, congratulations, you're correct. You know what? I'm going to go back east. No, I'm going to go back west. Back into the riverbank. So this is where I started. You'll know because if I look, there's nothing in this location. Why? Well, because, remember, I stole it. But I don't want it, so here, I'll give it back. No. So anyway, I could come here. I could go north. I should show there's a river if I go north. It doesn't do anything. If I go west, east, or north from here, I'm just still in the river. I can't leave the river. I have to go south. Yeah, sure, let's hear a riddle. How far is the center of the earth? 3,000 miles. Sorry, but that's the wrong answer. Do you want to take another guess? Sure, let's do it. Would you like a hint? Yep, give me a hint. How far down is the center of the earth? Well, it's giving me the diameter, so the center of the earth would be the radius, half of that, so it's 6,000. It'd be 6,375, 396. So it'd be something like that. 3,000, 6,396 kilometers. Something like that. Oops, wrong again. Okay. Maybe my math was way off there. I can't think. Do you want to take another guess? Absolutely. Let me just think of it. 350. 700, so 350. Oh, that's why I'm off. Would I like to take another guess? Yeah, I would. Would you like another hint? You know what? Yes. How far down? I don't think I gave another hint at this point. But like there are typically some of them have more hints. How far down is the center of the earth? Let's try this again. I think my math was off. It should be 6,300. 700 is 350 plus the 21, so 371 kilometers, maybe. Incorrect. Okay. Yeah, let's do another guess. Would you like a hint? Nope. Let's just do it. How far is it down? I can't get the kilometers right, so I'm just going to say 4,000 miles. Congratulations. For any of the guesses, there's numerous answers that could be accepted. I'm using an array of answers, basically just depending how someone types in. They could type 4,000 miles. They could type the kilometers. They could type the kilometers with km right after, or space, or right kilometers, different ways. Anyway, I got the riddle. I didn't get any points for it. That sucks. But I need to go south and get out of this spot. South, now I'm back at the riverbank. The excerpt doesn't show up this time because I've already been here. If I want to see the excerpt now, I have to click show. And even then, I don't think I implemented it at this point. But you'd have to click show to see the excerpt. But if you go to a new location, the excerpt will be there. I'm going to go east. You're at the rabbit hole. No, I think I already heard the riddle here. So, actually, yeah. Let's hear the riddle. No, I already did this. So, don't know. Nope. Nah. No other guess. That's all right. Riddles aren't for everyone. No, they're not. So if I look around, I'm at the rabbit hole. There's some items here. Orange marmalade jar, cupboard, blah, blah, blah. Different things. I'm just going to go south. And now I fall down. Thump. You can read the excerpt. Blah, blah, blah. I fall down into... I fall down into the something. Into Twig Landing. Congratulations, you're correct. Thanks. So if I look around, I'm in Twig Landing. Again, some debug code here that I was printing out in real time, so it didn't shut off. But basically, I'm in Twig Landing. Items and location, there's a carrot. So remember, if I look in my inventory, I've got a jar that I stole. And if I look here, there's just a carrot. So I could drop my jar if I wanted. Jar is dropped. Now if I look in my inventory, I have nothing. But if I look in the description, the location rather, there's a carrot in a jar. I can now take said carrot, and carrot is taken, and yeah, that's great. So now if I look, the carrot's not there, but it is in my inventory. Blah, blah. A lot of stuff. I could save the game at this point. That'd be great. Game saved. I could quit the game. I could reload. I'm iffy constantly reloading actually because it sometimes shuts off my video. If I look around, I'm at the riverbank. If I load the game, game loaded successfully. Now if I look around, I'm in Twig Landing, and you can see there's a jar there, which is weird for Twig Landing because typically there's a carrot and nothing else. But the jar's there because I dropped a jar. Whereas if I look in my inventory, I have the carrot. So that's how game load and save. You just save your game state. Anyway, I'm in Twig Landing. If I go if I go south, I can't go that way. There's no exit. No exit that way. And it just replayed the excerpt, but there's no exit. Nope, don't want to hear a riddle. If I go east, there's no exit. No exit that way either. Again, I'm not going to play the excerpt this time because I'm still in this location. No. If I want, no points for me. Again, some of this is just debug code that I wasn't part of my debug class. Just regular output to the console using std_cout and the insertion operator rather. You know, the double Pac-Man, double S then sign. So the only way to get out of here is go west, and then I end up in the Great Hall. You can read this. You know, you're in the Great Hall, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff happening. Do I want to hear a riddle? Absolutely. You know what? Absolutely, I would love to hear a riddle. What was the... No, it's the same one. So again, I have lots of different riddles. Oh, no. But I didn't put them all in. So anyway, if I look around in this location, again, this is all debug code here that I didn't escape. But really in the Great Hall, you'd have, and some description of the Great Hall, excerpt I need to add. The locations are, there's a table, a key, a curtain, a door, a bottle, and a cake. This area, I haven't... Originally, the idea was... Let's just do it. The original idea was I go to open the door. Door doesn't open. The door is locked and you don't have the key. Just disregard this object address stuff and just look at the bottom. Excuse my voice. I've got a little bit of a sore throat going on, so got some halls. But the door is locked. You don't have the key. Okay, well, you know what? I've seen a key, so I'm going to take the key. I take the key. The key is taken. Now, if I look in my inventory, I have a key and a carrot. Carrots doesn't matter. And if I look... The key is no longer on the table. I have the key. I've stolen the key. That's great. So what am I going to do with the key? Well, now I'm going to open the door. The door is open, but you're too tall to fit in. Okay, this is aligning with the story. If you're familiar with Lewis and Carroll's Adventures in Wonderland, she finds the key, but she's too tall. So she bends down and looks through it. And sees a wonderful garden and all that sort of stuff. But she's too tall. So what does she do? Okay, well, great. she's seen a bottle. She's going to take the bottle. And now if you look in my inventory, I have the bottle. But if I look, again, the bottle is no longer there. I took it. And the bottle, again, if you drink the bottle, and this would be in the excerpts, it would say, there's a bottle marked, well, even here, a bottle with a tag marked "drink me" on it. And if you know the story, you drink it and you get small. So drink bottle. After drinking the contents of the bottle, you shrink down to 10 inches. Great. I'm not too tall now. So I'm going to open the door. And the door is locked and you don't have the key. So what happened there? In the story, when she goes to open the key, she suddenly realizes the key is back on the table. It's the magic sort of irritants of Wonderland, just to drive someone insane. So if I look in my inventory now, I no longer have the key. I have the carrot in the bottle still, but I don't have a key. And if I look, remember the key was originally gone. Well, now it's back. A gold key. So I'm too small. If I try to take the key, I'm too small. I'm 10 inches tall. You are too short to grab the key. I'm really upset. But you know what? I did see some cake around. I know the story. I know if I eat the cake, that I grow big. So eating the cake, Alice cries a pool of 4-inch tears, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I've got some of the excerpts kind of mixed up here. But she grows to, after eating the cake, you grow to 4 inches tall. She sees this. Alice cries a 4-inch pool of tears that flood the room halfway down the tall. She's sad. She grew. She sees a rabbit run by. Let me just make this bigger. She sees a rabbit run by. She startled him, the white rabbit, and it caused him to drop kid gloves and a fan before scurrying off into the darkness. So now if I look, we'll see kid gloves and a large fan have been added to the items. And I still got my stuff. Carrot, bottle, and cake. So now I'm huge. I can take the key at this point. Key's taken. And I can open the door. And now the door is open, but you're too tall this time. Like, again, this is my problem. I'm either too tall, too short, whatever. And now I'm crying. And this part of the game is meant to frustrate someone. It's meant to be like in the show where she starts crying and Kara has a room full of tears. And ultimately, we go on into another location. So at this point, if you know the story, you're going to take the fan. I'd have hints and stuff happening in case you just really got stuck. You could ask. But you take the fan. The fan is taken. You can take the gloves too. The gloves don't do anything. They just give you points. Even the fan does. Like if I look at my score now, originally it was 0. I've got 15 now for a score because I've taken the gloves and taken the fan. They're both worth points, but the fan actually does something. So if I fan myself, I start to shrink. Now, I messed with the delay a little bit, so the shrinking doesn't happen right away because I was doing debugging. I should really put that delay back. But basically, let me just go there. Fan. What's going on? Oh, I'm in the wrong location. Wrong file. Okay, so I'm in the fan, and you can probably see what happened here, by the way. I fanned myself, and then all of a sudden, a message after all said, "You notice that you were wearing one of the white kid gloves. Height, 150. This is from the story. Basically, you're getting smaller. Sorry, just texting my son. Okay, so basically, every now and then I get a little smaller if I don't do anything. You notice that you were wearing one of the white kid gloves, so then my height is 150. You realize that you are able to put the glove on because you must be shrinking. These are all from the story. You are still shrinking and worried about going out like a candle. That you might disappear and go out like a candle. Again, this is... I just screwed something up here. You need to do something before you disappear. So I'm going to type in... I can look around, by the way. I can do all the normal stuff I did. Look around and see if there's anything in the room to help me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Right? I can check my score. I mean, I can still do the game stuff. There's no point at this point. And I started to use the fan. That's why my score went up to 25. I actually fanned myself. So that's a thing. But anyway, I'm getting really scared. I'm shrinking. What's my height now? You need to do something before you disappear. My height's 75. And then now look. you realize that it must be the fan that's causing you to shrink. Height's 50. So I need to do something. Like I need to, like, if I drop the fan, drop fan or something, right? Fan dropped. Now I've dropped the fan. That's great. But do I still stop shrinking? I need to stop, right? I can't remember if I just gave points for dropping the fan or if I made it stop shrinking too. But in the stop method, I definitely have shrinking stopped. Phew, that was a close one. You managed to stop shrinking. So the last, I was at height 50. So now I've stopped shrinking for the time being, but I can obviously start the fan up and shrink again. I'm just going to go to the fan method though while I'm talking out loud here. Fan. So here's the fan method. If you fan yourself again, you can read the docs in your comments. You continually shrink into the player's height until a certain moment. So I just start outputting these things. Eventually, as we get really low in height, I'm like breaking the fourth wall. I'm like, you really need to stop before you're a goner. If so, just drop the fan and get rid of the temptation. And then, eventually I'm just kind of saying drop fan. And then breaking the fourth wall when I'm at less than 5 inches. Breaking the fourth wall. Type, drop, or stop. And then eventually game over if I let myself die. But, and again, the delay changes based on my height. So that's all that. So I could start fanning again. If I fan myself again, you need a fan to fan yourself. Oh, I dropped the fan. So if I look in the inventory, remember I clicked drop fan. Had I just pressed stop and not drop fan, I would have just been able to press fan again. But I dropped the fan. So if I take fan taken, now I fan myself. Now I fan myself. Again, this is all just debug code, disregard that. But basically in a second I should see a message indicating that I've shrunk to whatever less than 50 was my next increment, which is 35. So I should be outputting this next at a height of 35. Maybe you should stop fanning yourself. And there you go. So basically whatever height I was is where I stopped. I'm going to stop again this time. Now because I've stopped this time, I don't have to pick up the fan. If I press fan again, I just start fanning. Because I didn't drop the fan, I just stopped. But now my height is, you need to stop shrinking before you disappear. Stop fanning yourself. Seriously, you need to stop and all this stuff. So I'll let myself get a little smaller, just a tiny bit, and then I will stop. We'll just wait a second. Riveting video, I know. Okay. Oh, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I got to a new height. Shrinking stopped, and now I can try to open the door, and we'll see that, well, if I look around, I tried to open the door. What happened? I don't know. Let's look around. I'm in the same location. And this is where if I had another day or even like hours, but I don't because I have to get my stuff ready for my exam, I would finish this. At this point, I was supposed to just transform into Pool of Tears, another location. The only way to get to that location is by crying in this. I was never supposed to be able to take this door to get out of here. Like, again, if I open door all day, it doesn't do anything. I can take the key. Again, there is no key because it's gone, because it's not meant for me to go out this door. I can drop some things. Sure. Drop carrot. Oh, I don't have the carrot. Let me take my inventory. I do have a carrot. So, at this point, there's some weird stuff happening because I'm supposed to... Am I not spelling carrot right? I'm supposed to be in a different location. So my code kind of started failing here. That's why all this debug code, it hasn't fully failed, but I was supposed to transport to a different area. Now I can still go back to where I was, east, and that puts me in Twig Landing, and I don't want to hear a riddle. And I think I can even go north out of Twig Landing, climb up the... No, I can't. So in Twig Landing, let's see, east. No exit that way either. Do I want to hear a riddle? No. So east, no exit, no riddle. South, no exit. So I can only go back west. But now I'm in the Great Hall. I can't go anywhere. Like I can go south. No, no exit. I can go north. No exit. I can go west. No exit. So the only way I can get out of here, I can go between here and Twig Landing, but I can't actually escape here. I have to cry that Pool of Tears. And I was just looking at that before I started this video, which I can't believe is 25 minutes long. I really am not good at this video stuff. Was that I looked at my Pool of Tears thing. Let me just hunt for it here. Pool of Tears. So originally, I have a method called Cried Pool of Tears, which turns true when I, let's see, Cried Pool of Tears. This is the method, and it in the method it turns player cried Pool of Tears true, which is a flag that would ultimately transform me to a different location. But I noticed that when I eat the cake and grow, I output the message. I'm just doing an output of the message here. That's why I got that stuff twice. So cry Pool of Tears is being called, but that Boolean that gets affected is nowhere else. Where it's supposed to be at the start of my code. So that's what I was basically going to do. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to fan myself. Do I still have the fan? I'm just going to fan myself and let myself die because I can't get out of here now. I basically have the code to one point where I can't actually move on. So my height's 10. This is going to be slow because it really increases the delay to give me time to not die. But I'm just going to let myself die. And then I'm going to figure out why this is. So as I said, I have that Pool of Tears. And I have this Boolean here, but I never created it. And I was supposed to create it. So, let me see here. I need to create a Boolean. Oh my. I need to create a Boolean at the top. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Drop. I am going to die. So I'm going to create a Boolean at the top of this file. Called and we'll just name it whatever. We'll just name it where's my header file? Oh, game over. See, so I lost because I let myself shrink too much. So I'm in the header file. I'll just put the Boolean in here just to keep it with all the other stuff. So here it is, actually. I do have player cried Pool of Tears. It equals false at the start. Turns true. But it's never accessed. Enable attribute unused for field. So it's never accessed. Let's see what this does. What are they saying? Attribute unused. I'm going to undo that. But it's saying that it's never used. And that might be because it's a private instance variable of this class. Maybe I have to go game. Well, I could just make this static. I probably should just make that static. And because it is, it's not really in multiple threads, I don't think so. I don't think I need to do the atomic bool. But I probably definitely should have made it static. I'm just going to make it static for now. This is last minute stuff. Probably shouldn't do. But I'm going to try, because either way the game doesn't work at this point anyway with the way it is now. So Pool of Tears is no longer a thing. I'm just going to go Alice in Wonderland text-based adventure game, Pool of Tears. No member named, blah, blah, blah. Saying no member named Pool of Tears. Oh, maybe that's the issue. Did I name them separately? This is player cries Pool of Tears. Oh, that's what it is. I'm still going to make it static because... Actually, let's just undo the static. Maybe that's all it was. It was just a naming thing. Well, I guess I don't need this if it's not static. Player cried Pool of Tears. Is that accessing the the right thing. Okay, it seems like it's accessing it. Okay, so now maybe, but so it says cried pool of tears, but I'm still not doing anything with it. So that's the other issue. Was that I cried pool of tears, and it's supposed to be when I eat the cake, I call the cry pool of tears method, but in the cry pool of tears method, I'm supposed to do something. So I need to be, oh man, sorry. I need to basically, where's my fan method? I know I'm all over the place here, but hang out with me. So the fan method. Okay. So in my fan method, man, sorry. In my fan method, it doesn't really matter where. I just need to say if cried pool of tears, player would I name it player cried pool of tears. If player died cried, oh my gracious, sorry. If player cried pool of tears, and their location is the, let's see, if player location, get location, and player's location equals not the pool of tears, that equals player's location is get name. Let me see. I just want to return get name. Actually, I just need to, if their location, this returns a pointer. If it equals the game's location, map dot get location, which this returns a pointer, I believe. Wonderland map, it's a pointer to a location, yeah, and this is a pointer to a location. Yeah, so if these equal each other, meaning if they're the same location, which is giving me some error. Why is that? This returns. Oh, get location at 3. That's right. So if it equals location 3, which is the Great Wall, and I think I have that. I think I have a spot where you can just put in the name. I think I have the constant. Let me just look up here. I'm going to put caucus race. I know I do something with the caucus race. Caucus, I can't remember how to spell it. Okay, so here, player get location, if it equals map location. So I have a static variable somewhere here. I don't know if it's a constant or if I created an enum class. No, so it's just a constant that I made. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So it's a constant, so I can't use it right now. I know if you're following me, I'm like all over the place. I'm trying to think as I go here. Before this exam that is soon, and I still have stuff to submit, so I'm going to have to stop this regardless in a minute. This might be the last thing I do. If player cried and player's location equals 3, which is the Great Hall, if that's true, and their height has to be a certain value as well, actually, and I'll fix this up after. Let's just drop this. And look, AI is listening to me, and the player height, so player get height equals, I think I wanted it to be less than 25, not 10, but anything less than 25, because that aligns with the story, like before she shrunk out of existence. If that's the case, if all those are the case, then what I wanted to do was, then I need to auto remove items from the player's inventory, because the player needs to lose all items. Auto remove items from player's inventory, great. And I want them to lose the fan. I'm just going to pass in the fan. I can pass in a variable number of arguments here as strings. And then I need to set the player's location. So player set location. I need to set their location to map.get location of 4, which is the pool of tiers. You know what? This may not work, but we're going to try it because that is... Let me just try to think. That was the original idea. I'm going to try this quick. Before I press... Well, first let's save everything. Before I recompile this code, I'm just going to stop the video because the videos have been known to stop recording and you lose all your recording when I recompile sometimes, depending on how much changes were made and just, again, how much effort CLion has to put in. And my laptop is several years old, so it will likely shut off. So I'm going to quickly shut off the video and I'll come right back a minute later.